Hey friends, come along this week as I take you through a cozy winter day here at home with my family of 6. Our rhythms change depending on the season, and since we're finding ourselves inside a lot, I've been trying to knock some things off of our to-do list. Join me for some cooking, tallow making, organizing, redecorating, and more. Usually we have pretty simple breakfasts here with your typical eggs, sourdough toast, sausage or bacon, and fruit. But once a week we do sourdough pancakes, waffles, or French toast. But on this day, I was really working towards clearing out our fridge and freezer, so we made a egg frittata with leftover broccoli and squash that I had from the night before. I had just set it aside in a bag and put it in the fridge to use another day during the week. I started by slicing an onion really thin and then added it to a pan with olive oil to caramelize them and give them some really good flavor. I then shredded up some organic cheese, which I actually never buy shredded cheese at the store anymore. It's super overpriced, especially these days. And it also has additives that keep the cheese from sticking together. And once I learned that, it's actually not that hard to just take your cheese grater, and it's actually cheaper to buy blocks of cheese at the store and just shred it at home. I also had frozen a ton of eggs last summer, and like I said, we're really trying to clean out our freezer. We are getting a pig and a cow share soon, within the next week or so. And so it's time to start using those eggs, especially since our chickens are starting to lay again and we're going to have fresh eggs. So I knew it was time to start using up all those eggs. I did realize that I never whisked these eggs together and the yolks were really clumpy, so I just mashed them up a bit and added some milk and they were fine. I have a video how I preserved my eggs last summer and I can link that in the description box. My only suggestion would be to make sure you whisk them when you put them inside the containers and then put them in the freezer. After whisking the eggs up a little more, I chopped my broccoli into smaller bits and then I threw them into the pan with the onions and added the cut up squash. I love doing frittatas because they use up a lot of eggs and you can use whatever vegetables you want to. It's a great way to clear out the veggies that might be on their last leg in your fridge that you used a couple nights before for dinner, or that you just didn't eat with any leftovers. I also cut up some organic deli ham, but you can use bacon, sausage, or you could even go meatless on this frittata as well and just use up whatever veggies you want. I buttered my pan really well, added the veggies and ham, and then poured the egg mixture on the top. Added salt and pepper and the shredded cheese and baked this at 400 degrees for 15 minutes or so. We recently got this Breville smart oven a few months ago and I don't regret it one bit. We did have a smaller toaster before and this one's a little bit bulkier, but it heats up so quickly and we use it every single day. It has tons of features like air frying, toast, bake, broil, dehydrate, and slow cook. I'll put that in the description box for you guys if you want to check it out. I love that it has the dehydrate function on it. While the frittata was baking, I figured out a way to use these mashed potatoes, and I don't know how I've never made these before, but I made mashed potato cakes. I just took the leftover mashed, some of the frozen eggs that I had, but this time I realized, let me try this with my immersion blender, and it just blended them all up super easily. Then I added some shredded cheese, which is the Pecorino Romano cheese. Hope I'm saying that right. But it's made from sheep's milk and it's really delicious and super healthy. I didn't have any breadcrumbs, so I just broke apart some bread pieces that I had, added a little flour and then spices like parsley, salt, and pepper. Then I realized that I needed breadcrumbs also for this next part of the recipe, so I had a bunch of sourdough bread that was getting stale. So I just broke it apart, threw it in my blender to make breadcrumbs. I'll toast the rest of them later to keep in the pantry for the next week or two, and I'll show you that in a bit. So I grabbed the potato mixture and formed them into little patties and then coated them in the breadcrumbs and fried them in avocado oil for a few minutes on each side. They came out really good. This, of course, wasn't the fanciest breakfast, but it used up a few leftovers from the fridge, and it was a nice treat compared to what we usually have. Lately, as I have more children, I am realizing that my motto is that done is better than perfect. With so much social media these days, it can be easy to compare your life to others and feel as though your home or your life is not perfect. You see what other people are posting or what they have, and you compare your life to them, and I'm guilty of doing this too. But my friends, I think we really need to let go of perfection, because homemaking and motherhood and, overall just life is about enjoying the ride. And I think we just need to not take for granted what we have. And, that's better said than done. It can be really hard, but we're currently living the good old days, and our families don't care if it's Instagram worthy or not. Winter itself can sometimes be really hard with the weather, being cooped up in the house, but we're trying to make the best of it. I have discovered that living seasonally is super important, and we need this rest to gear up for the spring and the summer to come. We're so busy in the spring and summer, and I'm sure you are too. And resting in this season is what our bodies are supposed to be doing to, just like I said, get it ready for what's to come. As a mother and a homemaker, I try to find little pockets of my day to do something for myself. Alone time is hard to come by with 4 littles under 5.5, but making sure I do things that bring me joy are really, really important. I always make myself a latte every morning to have with breakfast. I make sure that I never have coffee before eating. It's not really good for our metabolism to do that. But I love my lattes with a little bit of collagen, maple syrup, vanilla extract, and cinnamon. Sometimes I will do things based on the season, like pumpkin spice or brown sugar, or even make a caramel sauce, and that's really good. If we have an abundance of eggs, I'll make egg yolk coffee, which adds lots of extra protein and nutrients. Basically, what you do is you just take an egg yolk and whisk it with some sugar before you pour in your espresso. A warm, cozy drink on a chilly day can really change my whole mood. Something else that really makes me think straight and helps my day is if my home is tidy, which clearly can be difficult given I'm home with my kiddos all day, but we find pockets of time to pick up throughout the day, so it's not a total mess all of the time. And honestly, it helps me mentally, because if there are little messes everywhere, it's like my brain cannot handle doing more tasks. Every morning after breakfast, we do homeschooling with my oldest daughter. She is going to be 6 soon. So right now we do a kindergarten curriculum from The Good and the Beautiful, and that only lasts maybe 30 to 45 minutes, and we do that about 4, sometimes 5 days a week, just depends. We're doing a lot more homeschooling now than we do in the fall and spring because we're outside so much more, but she enjoys it, so I'm kind of just going on with the flow and feeling her out on that. It's pretty hard to keep my littles entertained during this time, so my other daughter usually colors or tries to learn alongside us. The baby sits on my lap or takes a nap, and the majority of the time my toddler goes outside and plays with my husband, or he plays in the playroom, or we just try to find some other way to keep him busy. Some days I get ready right when I wake up, and some days I wait until after school time. It kind of just depends on what we have going on for that day. Sometimes I don't get ready at all and I stay in my sweats all day. But I find that if I get dressed and ready, it's better for my overall well-being. It just makes me feel more efficient for some reason. I don't know, but I really have just a 5-minute makeup routine. I throw on a little concealer, some blush, mascara, and eyebrow gel. I use a combination of Toups & Co. makeup, Araza, and Thrive Cosmetics. Throwing up my hair into a clip is my quickest hairstyle to make me feel put together. Sometimes I will take the time to curl my hair, and it actually stays curly for a few days, so I just have to put it up in a ponytail at night, and then the next day run my fingers through it or a quick brush, and it looks pretty good. It's not perfect, but but like I said, my motto is done is better than perfect. Something else that I do every day is just make my bed. It just, like I said, when I keep my home tidy, it keeps my mind tidy, and so I just throw the bed together really quick, and make sure it looks nice, clean up my nightstand and my floor, and then I head back downstairs. And my breadcrumbs were toasted, so I put them in a mason jar and they'll be good for a week or two. If you're not catching on to my big to-do list this week, it's to clear out that dang freezer. So I took out some of the beef fat we have and decided to get a batch of tallow rendered. This is a really great way to make tallow for either cooking or lotion, but I really needed some lotion for my family and I, so I went ahead and made that. I have a YouTube video here on how to make tallow from start to finish. If you want to check that out, I will link that for you guys. It's super easy, just chopping up the beef fat, throwing it in the crock pot, and if you want to use it for lotion, you just have to add essential oils or vanilla extract or something to get rid of that beefy smell. And if you're going to cook with it, you don't have to worry about adding anything. You just strain it off and you're ready to cook with it. Here at home, there are always shenanigans to be had. So while the kiddos are entertained, I decided it was time to tackle a project I've been putting off for too long. You know, we all have those. I desperately needed to clean out our upstairs closet, and it's been on my list for months. I kept pinning ideas on Pinterest on bathroom closet organization, which made me put it off even more because I felt like I was never really ready to make it perfect. Well, I just went for it and started getting rid of towels. We had so many towels because we have a pool and people leave their towels here all the time. So while we tried our best to return them, we still managed to have 1 million in the closet. So I went ahead and donated those to a friend who has a bunch of pregnant goats to use when her goats give birth. Once I organized the towels, I worked through all the expired medicines and homeopathic remedies that I have. I kept buying homeopathic remedies because I couldn't see the ones that I had in the baskets. So I knew I needed a good way to organize those. It became a family affair as the kids realized what I was doing and they wanted to help me. But I was really happy to get this project done and checked off my list. Winter really is a great time to be getting those inside to-do lists completed, whether you have to paint or reorganize or go through things and donate them. It's just better because we're already inside, so we might as well do something with our time and stay cozy and warm, and you know, you can make it something to do with your family, like clearly mine wanted to help me. But now I can see all of my homeopathics and my tinctures. I just got these little organizers from Marshall's, but you can grab them on Amazon or TJ Maxx, Target, Walmart, whatever. But it made it so much easier to be able to see everything on these little shelves. We've also been slowly transitioning my toddler's room to an actual little boy's room. Oh, it's so sad. But I ordered a decal off of Amazon and needed to put that up. So with the baby strapped on my back, I just went ahead and put that decal on. And I do want to add a few other things in his room to cozy up the space and maybe eventually paint, but for now he's really happy with it and so am I. Eventually we will put the crib in his room so that him and the baby can share a room. But for now, I'm just slowly transitioning into like the truck and car theme for him, and like I said, he loves it. Honestly, my camera died when I went to record dinner this night, so I thought I would share what we had for dinner the following night, and what other way to end a cozy winter day than with a yummy bowl of warm soup. I was going to make a chicken pot pie, but we had lots of broth to use up, and I decided to make a chicken pot pie soup. So I cut some chicken breasts in half the long way, sprinkled them with salt and pepper, and seared them in some olive oil on the stove to get them brown and cooked through. I just gathered up some celery, potatoes, carrots, garlic, and onion to get ready to chop while the chicken was cooking. I gave them all a good wash before chopping up and getting ready to saute in my pot with some butter. At this point, my sister came up from the basement for a little bit. She has been living with us for a couple months, and honestly, it's quite nice to have a little help around here. But anyway, I removed the chicken from the pot and sauteed the veggies in the butter. Sauteing veggies before letting them cook in soup helps the flavor so much, and is basically the only way that I will cook soups. It just adds so much depth to the soup, and the veggies basically melt into the soup and makes it so much more delicious. While the veggies were sauteing, I chopped up my potatoes and garlic. I added the garlic to the pot with the veggies and let that cook for another minute or so. Then I added about a tablespoon or two of flour and let that cook for another minute. And then I deglazed the pan with a little white wine. You can totally omit this if you want and just use broth, but the wine adds such nice flavor. Then I turned the heat up, add the potatoes and broth, and let that simmer for about 15 to 20 minutes. As it was simmering, I chopped up the chicken, and as you can see, I had a few hands appear to steal chicken away. The kids were hungry and couldn't wait, but I love when my babies love my food. There's just something about cooking them warm, wholesome meals that warms my heart, and I hope that someday they will do the same thing for their children. I really love being with them in the kitchen, whether they're tasting my food or lending a helping hand. Obviously, it can take more time to let your kids help you in the kitchen, but is an experience that they will never forget and cherish forever. I hope that when I am old and gray, I remember the times that I cooked in the kitchen with my children, and even though they might have spilt some flour or messed up a recipe, like I said, these are the days, you guys, these are the good old days. After I chopped the chicken up, I then added in the frozen peas and corn, and then I added in some milk, which cream would probably be best for this recipe, but I've been trading a local girl for some fresh raw goat's milk, so I just used that. And can I just say, raw goat's milk is so good that I recently had to buy some milk from the store because she is drying up some of her goats, and it just does not taste the same. Raw milk is way better. And then lastly, I added some salt, pepper, and herbs and mixed it together with another one of my little helpers. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this little day in the life video of my daily homemaking rhythm during this winter. Soon things will be shifting and changing a bit as we head into spring. We're going to be working on things in the garden and, you know, just overall outdoor projects and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm excited for spring to come and to be getting outside more and getting some fresh air and sunshine. I will see you guys next week. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel.